2 minutes and 19 seconds of opening credits that do nothing for nobody. Oh, sure, the music gets super creepy, and I think I heard a fly buzzing, but that's about it.
Hey, boy.
I'm not sure why it's not obvious that this dog is dead to this guy, but thank God he doesn't get the hint, because now we get to see him try and lift the dog up. Hey, we get to see his insides. That's super fun for a psychopath.
No more finals!
One man screams in terror that his dog is dead, while a girl screams with glee that she doesn't have to take any more exams. Circle of life.
Hey, don't do it! Don't go to college! Scam, it sucks!
Something tells me I will have 0 people to root for in this movie. Sitting down next to strange children.
What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?
Is the movie trying to make me feel bad about this dude getting his fingers bitten? I'm kind of glad that kid bit him. Is that wrong?
Everybody knows not to sit next to Dennis.
Of course, everybody knows not to sit next to Dennis. Leonard Cohen sang a song about that shit. Also, why would anyone sit next to Dennis? Didn't we as a society decide not to sit next to Dennis? Isn't that implied?
There's a stream around back. You want to wash your hand. I'll get you a towel.
But there's no first aid kit in the general store. They sell tires. I sure am glad the movie spends so much time on the convenience store owner and his kid early on. It will definitely mean a lot to this movie later when the flesh-eating virus thing happens.
So, what's the fox urine for?
Oh, that's for foxes.
What's the rifle for?
Oh, that's for
This is awful dialogue, but out of all the things in this store, why would Karen ask about the rifle behind the counter? Isn't it obvious what a rifle might be for? I'll tell you, a setup to this man's racism was not at the top of the list.
Sorry, man. My bad.
All right. Friends are waiting.
It's interesting how this movie sets itself up to be a backwoods slasher film, but actually turns into a contagion horror film. Deception can be fun, but everyone going into this movie knows it's about an infection that kills people, so why have the slasher film gas station scene at all, other than Eli Roth making sure he got in some homophobic and racist humor?
Ew, it's so beautiful.
view and the shrubs and the bush.
But she still has her clothes on, Jeff, so you clearly don't have a view of any of those things yet.
Hey, Paul? Yeah. Have fun.
That was totally worth bringing him back for. You're playing up a situation that isn't all that funny to begin with, and while I think Paul was a dickhead for barging in, maybe you're the dicks for not locking the door. You just got here, you horny The second time? The second time? Are you saying the second time on this trip, or the second time since you got to the cabin? Because you just got here. Or are you saying that there was some other time 6 months ago that they went into a room and started banging right away and you walked in on them?
Would you relax, man? It's just a fucking BB gun. Relax!
Why are these people friends with this guy? I'm not saying groups of friends don't have the occasional odd duck, but is this guy somebody's friend from 3rd grade who got grandfathered in when it comes to weekend cabin trips?
Don't be gay.
I lived in 2003. Yes, people talk like this all the time, and yes, that doesn't make it right. But it's happened so much in the first 16 minutes of this movie, it's beginning to sound like the screenwriters didn't have a thesaurus handy.
What? Shoot me!
Why are you running around in the woods like a animal?
Just stay there! Please, stay there! Don't make me shoot you, man!
You mean again? You mean don't make me shoot you again?
You guys might remember it. Lenny Mead's Brighton Bowl.
It was in Brighton, right?
That's probably why it's called Brighton Bowl.
Paul would like for Karen to have sex with him at some point, right?
He hacked off all their limbs.
Good to know that we have these handy visual aids during the bowling alley massacre of a guy getting hacked up next to some bowling pins. It looks like somebody set this shit up in a studio. Maybe that's for some kind of effect. The effect it's giving me is that somebody cheaped out on renting a bowling alley to shoot this scene. Eli Roth's brother is definitely the scariest thing about this movie.
Yeah, he's a professor.
Of being a dog? Ooh, faced!
I had to think this served as Eli Roth's audition tape for Inglourious Bastards.
Come on, Dr. Mambo.
Dude, you tied Dr. Mambo up to a tree. Now, I know you've just smoked some weed, but surely you remember that.
I thought he was funny.
He's literally right next to you guys while you talk about him.
There's no way this contagious coming in.
Things I've said for the last 5 months, time travels 18 years into this movie. This guy starts the car and then doesn't just drive away. The motor is running, dude. These people are assholes. Take yourself to a doctor already. But for some reason, this guy waits long enough for everybody to come attack him. Like he's the victim in a horror movie that can't get the car to start before the killer attacks. The only difference, this time the car started.
Stop or I'll stab you!
Man, Karen went from
Bert, he's sick for Christ's sake.
to stop or I'll stab you quick. This is easily the most insane sequence of events in a movie since Jackie Mason and Robert Stack played amusement park golf for zoning rights in Caddyshack 2. What is this asshole doing with the honey? Why is he pouring honey on himself? It's always great when you dream in someone else's point of view. You rarely get a chance to look at yourself this way.
Come on, man. We all up that car. Don't just put it on me.
But you were both literally just trying to put it all on Paul. Throw stones in glass houses much? He's got cabin fever. She's got cabin fever. They're in love. I mean, I'm sure I wouldn't be stoked to see a pig getting filleted, but I understand it happens. That's how we get bacon. So why are Bert and Jeff acting like they just saw a brutal murder take place in front of their eyes? Do they not like bacon? And if so, Bert and Jeff.
Tell Murray I can't eat this.
Do these guys look like they're from around here?
I already been in town today, sorry.
Why would this be a valid excuse for not taking someone into town? Besides, she bought a diseased hog and can't use it for meat, so what else is she gonna do today? I love that Marcy is not a helpless horror movie female cliche, but this scene still strikes me as so odd it's impossible not to laugh at it. I'm not complaining, but it looks like cabin fever just turned into caboose fever. Also, this shot is accompanied by a stinger from the score, like the discovery of this house is tantamount to stumbling on Leatherface's house. But since we know the antagonist of this movie is a flesh-eating virus, and my inability to see straight while I have a boner, I don't know why the movie pretends the house is such a big deal.
Well, I followed the path that old guy ran, but I don't know, I couldn't find him. He could still be alive.
But the last time we saw her, she told Jeff that she was going to get help, and it didn't look like she was going anywhere near where Man on Fire ran. The next time we see her, she's in a canoe! And how in the hell did she end up in the same place as Jeff and Bert?
I'm out patrolling my jurisdiction, and I heard there was a lot of commotion here last night.
Nobody called it in when it happened. They just waited for me, Mr. Reliable, to show up in the morning and tell me about it.
I bet you like to party with the ladies.
Look, the quirky characters, the whimsical music, it's like Cabin Fever is fashioning itself into the Twin Peaks of flesh-eating virus movies.
I'm telling you, man, this is a major party town.
I mean, how could it not be? I hear Dennis the Biter can be hired pretty cheap to liven up any cabin in the woods shindig. And the general store grandpa will even throw in some free fox piss.
Holy shit, man, these guys really did a number on your ride.
And there's a ton of blood on it, but we'll just look past that.
You know how to get a hold of me, right?
911?
That's it, my man.
This Boy Meets World asshole just said a minute ago that they don't have a phone in the cabin, and Deputy Winston told him that most people communicate through radio, so you basically f***ed yourself, Paul. How are you going to get in touch with this dude when you don't have a phone or radio?
Has Cat left her room yet?
No, she's still sleeping. I don't know what's up with her.
Yeah, she can't get over almost stabbing a man to death and then seeing him run away burning to death. Karen.
Bert, don't move.
This movie has such a thin premise, and it has almost nowhere to go, so it inserts scenes like this into it to pad the length. Oh no, it's Eli Roth's dog, coming back for revenge? Anyway, it barks a lot, and then Marcy, who's everywhere in this movie, shows up to scare it off. Now, eventually you do plan to have flesh-eating viruses in your flesh-eating virus movie, right?
Let's get a cabin. So gay.
I'm beginning to think this movie started out as a gay conversion camp story, and then one of the other writers, probably Eli Roth, said, nah, f*** that, let's turn it into a virus movie. But they kept all the characters referring to things as gay all the way through it.
Stay.
Okay, I'll stay, but just a word of warning, I dry hump in my sleep.
Why'd you stop? Shoot him already?
I guess Jeff is trying to shoot the dog, but the movie never shows the dog during this entire scene. The scene lasts for a total of 20 seconds and dramatically fades to black, almost as if it's bragging how unimportant it is to the movie.
If it gets any closer, I can hit it. Just keep working.
Or maybe stand in front of Bert with the gun, because right now the dog could easily get to Bert before Jeff gets a shot off. I get that Karen kissed Paul earlier, but zero has happened since then, so letting your hand wander to wherever seems a little presumptuous and 100% non-consensual at this point.
Bert, can you help me?
Even if you're sick and delirious, I don't know why you'd ask Bert for help. Apparently, the best way to check for contamination is by everyone keeping their shorts on and lifting their shirts to expose only their stomachs. Karen's infection showed up on her inner thigh, but sure, this counts as scientific. Also, why did they wait until nighttime to do this examination? Is it because it's sexier that way? Why would Karen need to leave the cabin? Just leave her in her room and no one else goes in there until they can get help. Do you even know how to quarantine, bro? Also, I'm pretty sure this is the worst group of people to ever exist in film. Even the characters in American History X are saying, I'm not hanging out with that crew.
You guys.
Putting Jordan Ladd in a barn.
Ah!
Paul, how's the peeping? How's the peeping, Paul? Pale, 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 pale. Wait, was this guy just wandering around with his gun while his wife was inside doing her naked pillow thing? He didn't come out to investigate a noise, because Paul's been totally quiet this whole time during his peeping.
Where's you been? Oh, did you find anyone?
Earlier, you and Jeff wandered all over the place looking for help in the daylight. Now you're gonna give Paul shit about being out too long when he tries it at night?
Come on inside. Marcy made chili.
Earlier in the day, Paul told Karen...
I think Marcy made some chili.
So did Marcy make it again? I'm now super curious why they are eating so much chili. Are they cannibals? They're cannibals, aren't they?
You know, so go sleep in the car, Jeff, and just give us all a break.
The car? That thing's a germ factory. I don't even want to ride in it.
I totally get it. You're worried about everything that an infected person could have touched. But seeing as how you're in the cabin, you could be touching numerous things Karen touched. That ship has sailed, man. Also, someone should be outside anyway, right? They told Karen someone would be outside at all times guarding the shed. They went against that promise quickly.
Who am I? Ah, I'm melting! I'm burning!
This reminds me of when I did the eulogy at Joan of Arc's funeral. I thought everyone could use a pick-me-up, but I think my main mistake was that I didn't do a good impression of her. I think they would have gone along if I had perfected it. I should have practiced it the night before.
We have to talk to each other. We have to work together.
and go find a doctor for Karen, right? Because no one is doing that. Bert drinks the water, so he'll be infected next. But seriously, this guy's gonna drink water during this? Are they out of beer? So wait, did Paul just steal Marcy from Jeff? Why would he need to sleep with Marcy? Aside from the bed Karen was sleeping in, there should be 3 beds left in the cabin, since doofus Bert is outside guarding the barn. I don't doubt there's people in this world who find that jump scare effective, but very few people that age are allowed to see a movie like this. Blood that was on Bert's chin and that he's totally failed to wipe off is suddenly gone between cuts.
I'm not leaving Karen. I can't.
Because after all, you cared about her so much last night when you bound her to a dirty shed. So yeah, this change of emotional support checks out. Could Bert not tell them to put Karen in the Jeep so that when he finds the doctor, he can get to work right away? What about the other dickheads? Can't they make that suggestion too? At this point, why wouldn't they just bring her back to the house and put her on a bed? I feel like this movie should have been titled, "What the f*** is wrong with these people?"
It's like being on a plane when you know it's gonna crash.
Movie plays a dinner theater production of rejected lyrics for Alanis Morissette's Ironic.
All you really want to do is grab the person next to you and f*** the shit out of them, because, you know, you're gonna be dead soon anyway.
I can't believe it. Paul is going to get sex and candy from Marcy Playground. Mama, this surely is a dream. The actor's name is Ryder Strong, but it looks more like she's riding him. Okay, I'll tell you how f***ing weird this scene is. Either Paul is pouring Listerine on his as a germ killer, or he's pretending to pee for anyone who might be listening. So he won't be found out as someone who goes into the bathroom and doesn't pee. That settles it. Everything Paul touches dies. God damn, this movie is silly. It's like Showgirls silly. This feels like something someone puts in their movie so they can claim it was satire later. To be fair, he told Bert to stay away. He did not instruct Dennis to stay on the swing and refrain from showing Bert his slick karate skills.
Done to this poor boy. What's he done to you?
He bit Bert, and I was starting to think Dennis's dad was the smart one in this movie. Sadly, he probably still is. Oh, this isn't good. Bert's probably going to get chased down by these general store guys, and holy this store sells hoop cheese? Okay, so this truck is right on Bert's tail, and then the next time we see him, he's off-roading and somehow got away from the other truck. He's so far away from them that it takes a good 20 seconds before the general store posse shows up. What the hell happened? Why wasn't the goddamn infection the only villain in this movie? We don't need the Redneck Brigade. Honestly, no movie ever needs the Redneck Brigade. Let's just retire the Redneck Brigade. Oh, I wasn't sure there was the same guy I burned earlier in the movie, but now that I've turned him over, it's so abundantly clear. Like, what gave it away? The shirt? Guys, now that Paul is in the disease water, I think I can finally come out and say it. I'm really glad Paul is in the disease water. I get this is leading to one of the movie's, money shots? But I still have to ask, why would Marcy be shaving her legs at this point in time? Outside of her choice of sex partners, she's been the most logical thinker in this movie. Also, why do I get the sense that the only reason why she's shaving her legs here is because the filmmakers wanted to slowly reveal that her legs had lesions? I mean, even if she put shaving cream on her normal-looking legs, there's no way that there'd be this much damage before she got a chance to shave them, unless she applied it while her legs looked like this. This guy shoots his shotgun, which can only mean that Bert is dead. Then it cuts back to Marcy in the shower and Paul being a dick, and how is it even possible that they heard that gunshot? The editing in this movie is the absolute worst, and I don't think it's necessarily the editor's fault. It just seems like a lot of concessions were made, and it makes the movie unintelligible in spots. Yeah, looks like someone's been torn apart by something, so I don't need this gun anymore. I'll just drop it right here. As soon as we see Paul fall down, he's dead. There's no way that dog didn't catch up to him already. The movie's gonna make it seem like he did, and that's a f***ing lie. How the f*** is this guy even here right now? God, this movie is stupid. I get that Paul's pissed off, but is he all of a sudden cool with straight up murder? Guess he is.
You tell him this wasn't our fault. That disease that was here before we got here. You tell him!
Paul shouts an empty demand into the void. I guess to make him look like the hero of this movie or something? I don't know. I think it's stupid just as much as you do. Anyway, I'm going to say something very confusing here, so watch out, because this is the kind of nonsense that you have to work through when you're seeing a movie sometimes. Do you think the friend of a guy whose son bit Bert on the wrist and blamed the whole incident on him is going to tell the cops that Bert's friend said the disease was here before they got here? Everyone get that? No? Good.
Whatever you want, don't drink the water!
Paul remembers his training back in 1998, just before he masturbated to a picture of Karen in gym shorts. He popped in the Before These Crowded Streets CD. The advice Dave Matthews gave on that album served him well. Eli Roth is nowhere near this flashlight, but good thing he dropped it where he did, because Paul can investigate and the movie can add to its bloated 97-minute runtime. That's right, I said it! Anyway, aren't you glad you found out what happened to Eli Roth's character? We totally cared about him, didn't we? Playing acoustic guitar at parties.
Some kids up in a cabin are on a killing spree. There's 2, possibly 3 casualties already.
My question is, how the f*** are the cops getting this information? They're out in the middle of nowhere. Their best deputy is partying on the job. Who lives close enough to the cabin to know anything about what's going on? Who are these phantom people that keep telling the cops about shit going on in the woods?
So if you do see them, Do not hesitate to shoot them on sight. Do you copy?
How do you even know there's one kid left? Just 20 seconds ago you said there's some kids up at the cabin. Plural kids. But now you seem to know there's only one left? No, this is good. Good! If Paul gives everybody the flesh-eating virus, then they can develop a herd immunity.
You just up the whole party, you idiot.
Party's over, Winston.
Winston, unfortunately, survives this. This movie's terrible. Movie traffic, where the truck driver sees someone in the road 1,000 feet away and continues speeding toward that person, honking their horn to tell them to get out of the road instead of just slowing down. Because god damn it, gas stations in the area need those Twinkies stat. I know this is part of the joke, because the movie is filled with stuff like this. The guy in the neck brace really sells it, as does the guy in the wheelchair who sees Paul lying here and nopes his way back. But seriously, the truck driver went out of his way to get Paul out of the street and drive him to a hospital, but couldn't be bothered to take him up to the emergency room side? And while there's a sign that says county hospital, this isn't really a hospital, is it? This looks like a school that they stuck a county hospital sign on. Oh, this was a prequel to Donnie Darko. Oh,
You put him in the car. Take care of him.
So they put a guy with an unexplainable disease in the backseat of a deputy's car. Wouldn't you put him in an ambulance and handcuff him to the bed or something? Yeah, Bert's brain matter really nixed any chance of you getting that deposit back, man. Made it. I know that nobody cares that Jeff is clearly going to die, but this is a severe violation of the premature celebration. Character exclaims rejoice over surviving and is immediately killed cliché. At this point, you gotta ask yourself how come an entire area doesn't have a flesh-eating virus at this point. This is their water source. They're gonna need someone like Aaron Brockovich or a civil action to clearly it up. These are the kids who are at the river getting that dirty-ass water for their lemonade. Why the did they need to go there for that? Don't they have a faucet at home? You see, the store owner wasn't racist after all. He just uses casual racial slurs to describe people so that the movie can set up this joke later. Oh, I'm so relieved. It's okay for him to use that word because they call him by that word. So awesome. Such racial unity. Man, more people are buying these cups of lemonade from this stand in 5 minutes than I ever made with my lemonade stand. I mean, I didn't have the cushy location, but how many assholes are going to buy this shitty lemonade? This movie even has an end credits scene, for Christ's sake. Wasn't it apparent by the ending that the whole town was going to get infected? Do we really need one more scene to drive that home? Alright, you can stop sending us concerned messages that CinemaSins stole our idea. CinemaSins is in fact our other channel where we sin, you guessed it, TV shows. Search for CinemaSins and find one of your favorite shows. Then, enjoy us sinning the shit out of it.
You're a tiger! You're Tony the tiger!
So wait, you like me now? Is this like a date?
What's wrong? You're not afraid of a little octopus, are you?
Just tell him the story,
All right.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
You tell Murray I can't eat this shit.
I'm going downtown. I'm going to talk to Mitch and Murray. I'm going to Lemkin.
I want to go home. I gotta go pee. I want to go home.
Men like you built the hydrogen bomb. Men like you thought it up.
He's already pulled over! He can't pull over any farther!
Get that damn screwdriver!